Imagine, if you would, a basketball game. They've got their goals in place, but what makes the game a game? It's the timeline for completion. It's the time clock. When that clock is on, all that movement, all that activity, it has meaning. It's got purpose. It's directed action. And so much more gets done. There's more passion behind it. But when you take that clock out, it all becomes just regular activity. And that's how people today, so many people go through life. They wake up in the morning. They go out and do their activities. They come home at night. They feel tired. They don't understand why they're not getting any further ahead. It's meaningless activity that you're doing. You've got to turn it into directed action. Set your goals and give them a timeline for completion. Not to mention, it gives it a sense of urgency, and it prevents procrastination. And that's the biggest killer. We all go through this paralysis through analysis, trying to figure it all out. Begin to take action. Don't procrastinate. And that's what the timeline for completion will do for you. Then finally, it takes us to step number 8. And step number 8 is simply this. You must learn to create a reverse chronological timeline. A reverse chronological timeline. This becomes your blueprint or your map to success. What you do is you simply take another piece of paper and you begin with the end in mind. You know what the final goal looks like, exactly how it's going to feel and everything. Now you go back to step 6, your action steps, and you start putting those action steps in reverse chronological order. If your deadline date is March 15th, March 14th, 13th, 12th, 11th, 10th, all the way to today's date. And then you begin to put your action steps in reverse order. And what you'll find when you're done is you have a blueprint. You don't have everything on there you need, but you don't have to. What you need is going to show up. You just need enough to begin taking action. That's all you need. Action cures fear. Begin taking action and it goes away. Now, on your blueprint here, there's one very important thing I want you to do, and that is I want you to circle every single Friday on your reverse chronological timeline. And here's why. We are going to begin to develop new habits. See, the only difference in successful people and people who settle for a life of mediocrity lies in the difference of their habits. Successful people develop the habits of doing the things that unsuccessful people don't like to do, won't do, hate to do. Successful people, things aren't easy for them. It's the same for everyone. They've made up their mind to develop the habits of doing the things they have to do. That's all it is. So watch this. Self-esteem. The very word self-esteem is nothing more than doing the things you need to do each day that take you one step closer to your goals in life. What I mean by that is if you will learn to take, well, let me put it a different way. How many of you have ever had a to-do list? You had this big to-do list, and when you didn't get it done and you get home at night, you feel bad. You just feel like your day was, you're not in control. It's just a bad feeling. But when you had a to-do list, you got it all done, and you got home, you feel good about yourself. Your day was productive. That is a barometer of your self-esteem. So when you learn to create the habit of taking 1% of your day, opening up your day planner, going to your your reverse chronology timeline or your blueprint, and taking the things for that day out and transferring it to your day planner. You spend 1% planning. That's 15 minutes. 1% planning. That leaves you 99% to execute that plan. Now all of a sudden you're in control of your day. The day is yours to control. When you begin getting your things done on a daily basis, not only is it taking it closer to your goal, but it's also building your self-esteem. As your self-esteem gets higher, you start getting little victories. As you get the victories, your confidence gets higher. As your confidence gets higher, you begin going after bigger and bigger and bigger goals. And pretty soon you're an absolute master goal achiever. You know in your mind, because of historical data and empirical data, there is nothing you cannot do. And when you hit that point, that is the best point in your life to be, is to know that you can do anything you put your mind to. But it takes a formula. And this formula always works. So let's work on building our self-esteem now by creating new habits of spending 1% of our day planning the day and then 99% executing. And then, as I said, on the blueprint, we circled the Fridays. We're going to develop another new habit. And that is creating Fridays as our benchmark or our evaluation day. We are going to create the habit of taking 30 minutes to evaluate our week. How we did that week that took us closer to our goals. It's okay if we get a little bit off. Because just like the airline pilot, we can now start making course corrections. We know where to put more focus on the next week. We'll reward ourselves for the things we did really good. We don't reprimand ourselves for what's bad. We just purpose ourselves to make it more of a focus the following week. Have you ever noticed that a carpenter carries a hammer in one hand and a level in the other? It's build, measure, build, measure. Build, measure. Because he knows if he puts that level down and builds for a while and comes back and measures and it's off, and it will be off, he's got a few bad choices. He's got to either tear it all down. It's going to take him a lot more time. Why not do what successful people do? Create Friday for Evaluation Day. Let's build for a week, and then let's measure where we're at, and let's make the corrections then when it's just a little tap to knock it back over and fix it while it's easy. Remember, successful people create the habits of doing the things that unsuccessful people don't do. We're here to create new habits this year. We're going to make 2008 the most powerful year of our whole life. Now, the last thing I'm going to ask you to do is this. To be truly successful and achieve your goals, you must be willing to create strong accountability. By strong accountability, I mean you need to be willing to go out and tell every single person you meet exactly what it is you're going to do and when you're going to do it by, and say it with pride. Because if you're afraid to tell people what you're going to do and when you're going to do it by, it's a pretty good indication that you're not truly committed. And what I found in life, that 99% committed is exactly the same thing as 0. There is no difference in 99 and 0. Because at 99, you still got to toe out the door. And when things get tough, and trust me, they will, you're going to slither on out and close the door behind you. But when you're in and you tell everybody what you're going to do and when you're going to do it by, that's 100% commitment. Remember what I said. The cycle of success is this. Dream, struggle, succeed. Dream, struggle, succeed. Dream, struggle, succeed. There are no shortcuts, folks. I wish there were, but there's not. But the struggle part is where our planning comes in. We must learn to embrace the struggle, not fight against it. Don't be wishing it would change. Wish for the strength to get through it and trust your plan. There are no shortcuts. See, life is a journey. It's not a destination. When you're in these struggles, folks, just embrace them, but be doing the things you need to do to plan to get yourself through it. So let's talk about what we've covered so far. We talked about the 8-step formula. Number 1, write it down, clearly defined and specific. Number 2, identify your why. Make sure the dream is yours and write it in a strong, positive statement using strong adjectives. Number 3, identify the obstacles you may face to the best of your ability and how you're going to overcome them. Step 4, identify the specific skills and knowledge that you're going to need to achieve that goal. Step number 5, identify the people, the groups, and the organizations that are going to help you and how you're going to align yourself with them. Step number 6, list your action steps and give it a chronological order. Step number 7, establish your timeline for completion. And then number 8 is where we're going to create our reverse chronological timeline, our blueprint, our map to success. Now we're going to develop the new habits of spending 1% of our day planning, 99% executing to build our self-esteem and our confidence. We're going to create the habit of making Friday our benchmark or our evaluation day so we can evaluate our week and make course corrections the following week before things get too out of hand. And finally, we're going to commit to creating strong accountability. Folks, remember this. There's absolutely nothing you cannot do. You can do anything. Remember, we can do all things through Christ. Henry Ford once said in 1909 that whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're correct. Please do not focus on today's results. Remember, thoughts create emotions. Emotions drive actions. Actions equals results. We're going to learn to focus on what we do want, not on what we currently have. Today's results are from yesterday's thoughts. Today is a new day. Today we're going to think differently. Today, no matter what, we are going to take our thoughts captive, the negative ones, and replace them with the positive ones that are going to take us closer to the life that we're meant. Remember, life is something we create, and these goals are how we create it. So let me leave you with this. What are you going to do tomorrow differently than you did today that's going to take you one step closer to achieving all your goals this year, all your goals in life? I've given you the most powerful formula there is. It's easy, yes, but it's not simple. You're going to have to create new habits. Purpose yourself that to this day. Please write down your goals. I love you all so much, and I want everybody here to know there's nothing special about me other than I developed the habits in this formula. Please trust this formula. If nothing else, just give me 1 year, and let me prove it to you that it works. So again, what are you going to do differently tomorrow than you did today to take you one step closer to your goals in life?